I'm Kathy Pham, a Vice President of AI here at Workday, and I'm joined by Andy Cannon, our Vice President and Deputy General Counsel for Product and Technology. What that basically means is he's the lawyer that we all love having in the room in product and technology and all the things we're doing with AI and machine learning. We're going to dive today into talking about really just the value of partnerships across legal, compliance, responsible AI, and product and technology. Thank you so much for joining me today, Andy.
Well, thanks for having me.
You have a really unique background. It starts with development and ends with really starting up a whole product legal practice at Workday. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Yeah, I'd love to. Like a lot of the folks that I've met here this week, our partners and our customers, I started off as a software engineer. So I built out AI products for a company and led an engineering team for about 7 or 8 years. And then I had an experience with the product counsel at the company I worked with, and I really enjoyed the time. And I thought, wow, I think this is something that I might want to do in my career. So went to law school, ended up coming to Workday. I was one of 2 product counsels starting off. I think I was our first AI lawyer at the time. And now 8.5 years later, there's over 40 people on the product counseling team, and we're working with every team in Workday.
And one of the things you take on is you help our AI and machine learning team figure out how to build and ship right now too, right? And it's a world that's changing so fast that it's really incredible to have you partner alongside our AI ML team.
Yeah, I think a lot of legal and compliance issues are top of mind right now because you have regulations coming out of Europe, coming out of the States. There's local regulations in a bunch of different cities. And I think one of the things that my team tries to do, and me in particular, is make sure that all the product teams that we work with understand what's going on, because I think, whenever you're building a product, you want to have all the requirements up front, as you know.
Right.
I'm telling you something that you already know, obviously. But I think when we get in there early and tell them that these are the requirements that are coming down the pipe, they can build that, and it can be seamless as part of their development process, and they don't have to change something at the last minute before they ship it.
Yeah. You brought up legal compliance. We talked about responsible AI. What are they? What is legal? What is compliance? What is responsible AI? I know that sometimes, especially before people taught me what it was, I kind of clumped it, as a developer, I would clump it all together as one big legal bucket.
Yeah.
What is how does that show up in tech?
I think that's a good way to look at it. It all does kind of come together, but I think for us, especially at Workday, and anywhere, any kind of enterprise space, there's laws that apply to us that we have to follow when we're shipping our product. There's also a bunch of different compliance frameworks, so best practices. There's all kinds of frameworks around the world that we're certified to that gives our customers comfort when we're shipping the products. And then lastly, we have to be in compliance with our contracts. So our customers are negotiating with us and signing our contracts and understanding what we're delivering to them. And so we have to ensure that everything that we're providing meets that standard. And also, everything that we're doing is best in class at Workday, whether it's privacy, security, legal, compliance, responsible AI, like you said.
Yeah. How do you help the teams figure out responsible AI?
So I think, one of the things, like we just mentioned, things are changing. There's a lot of stuff, like I said, coming out of Europe and the United States, but a lot of it has to do with core principles that we want to develop to at Workday. So a lot of it is, performance testing, acceptance testing. So a lot of it's best practices that a lot of people do today. But I think what it does is it gives our customers comfort that we're following a practice, we're being transparent about what we're doing, we're showing our work, and then we're making sure that everything we're doing is on the right side of things for society. So,
what advice do you give to developers? Because you work with so many developers, and you all internally, our engineering product teams love Andy to the point where he can represent our teams in front of other groups, just because we really have that high trust relationship. What advice do you give to developers who are working with general counsel?
So I think the first thing is it's all about communication and trust. Yeah. So I think, one of the things is that when I talk to developers, you got to be patient with us. We want to learn, we want to help you. And at the same time, we want to be patient with the developers too. And I think over time, when you go through these product cycles together, you learn to have that trust. And I think that, one of the things that we're always trying to do is just keep the company safe and make sure that the products are being delivered in the right way. And at the end of the day, there's an expectation, I think, out there in the market. And if you're building things the right way, if you're building things with responsible AI, you're doing it in a legal and compliant way, I think you're just going to increase adoption across the board. And one of the things I think for us that's really powerful is we talk to customers.
Yeah.
You know, their legal and security and compliance team want to talk to us all the time. So we kind of understand what the customers need and what they expect. We talk to our vendors.
Yeah.
So, you know, we saw it yesterday in the keynote. We talked about a lot of the LLM providers that we're using best in class, and we know what's there in the industry. So we bring that expertise to the product teams and we tell them this is the expectations. And if you build it this way, the customers are going to uptake it and you're going to get very high adoption of whatever it is that you're delivering.
Let's build on that. So let's zoom up a bit, because you talked about customers and other parts of the company. How do you think about this like ever evolving space of AI moving quickly? So what we talked about a bit together is at some point we cared a lot about privacy and compliance for the training of models. But as we moved on, maybe we've like gotten past that with customers, and then we might care about something else. But there's always something new as we evolve, because things are changing so quickly.
Yeah.
How do our teams work together, and like which parts of the companies, right? So we talk a bit about the developer product technology relationships, but what are all the different parts of the company that have to come together for us to iterate pretty fast, to understand the legal landscape of what we put forth into the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, you know, like you said, like it's the whole company coming together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have folks from security, compliance, legal, you know, we have our friends in corporate affairs that get involved.
Right.
I think everyone comes together and you know, a lot of it is we have a program that brings this cross-functional team together. And so we will work with the product team on strategy, delivery models, reviews to make sure that they're meeting all the right standards.
Yeah.
And so it's just, it all comes together to make sure that when we do ship the product to the customers, that they're going to be happy and understand that we're meeting the same standard every single time that we're putting forth. And as things change, we're constantly re-reviewing and we're updating it. And so, you know, we hear from our customers, we're always reviewing the latest laws and regulations, compliance frameworks. Just recently, we got certified under the NIST AI RMF framework. So those things are happening all the time, and I think it's just a constant iterative process that we want to make sure that we're upgrading our products, we're upgrading our processes, and we're making sure that we're hitting that same standard every single time.
Yeah, the NIST risk management framework is a great one. It is honestly such a gift to have a team that you know keeps a pulse on all, like the compliance, the legal, the new frameworks, and then translates it back to our product and engineering team. It's such a gift to have that. Yeah. What is, do you have a favorite memory or favorite experience working with development teams?
So I've had the pleasure, I mean, I worked at Workday for 8.5 years, and when I first came in, I was the first AI lawyer that we had. And at the time, I think there was 2 of us in product legal, and now we have over 40 plus people. And one of the things that we did is we worked very closely with the product team on developing the innovation services framework to deliver AI features to our customers. And then most recently, we've evolved that, and we have a new universal MSA, as you know, and we have a very robust data contribution framework, but it's all in the lens of giving our customers transparency on what we're doing, especially with their data and improving AI models for them. And so I think it's something that's unique in the industry, and I'm very proud of the work that I think our teams have done together to do that. And I think it's paying off. I think customers are enjoying that. I think it shows them what we're doing, and it shows them the kind of features that they can adopt right out of the box with Workday.
I love that. I love that you're able to focus on like the end product, if you will, of transparency and understanding for our customers and our users. But an engineer, we don't know how to get there. And you all have all the mechanisms, like whether it's like updating the ISA or something else to help us get there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it just says a lot about the partnership. So I think over the years, there's just like, you know, this level of trust that's been built. And I think because we're kind of in the middle and we know what the customers want, we bring that information back to the development teams. And there's been many times where we sit and strategize with them, and the end product becomes something that, you know, when the general counsel of one of our customers comes and says, like, how are you doing this? And we can say, well, look at this. This is basically for you. You want to see what's going on. Your security team can see it, your compliance team. And I think it just sends a powerful message that for Workday, I mean, we put legal compliance, we put all of that first because we want our customers to understand that everything we're doing is best in class. So whether it's delivering AI features that are going to increase productivity for you or meeting every legal and compliance framework, we're going to check off all the boxes for you so that you can turn that on and feel comfortable with using Workday.
That's great. Let's wrap with pulling on that thread of being best in class. You quite literally wrote like our playbook for product counsel here at Workday, and then being the first AI general counsel to really help us out. There's so many lessons learned there along the way. What would you say to an organization looking to build out their own great product counsel practice? What are all the pieces that they should know?
I think one of the things that I found over the years is that, people are scared to talk to their lawyers for whatever reason. I mean, I get it, but I think that when your company gets to a certain size, I think you'll know it when you see it. But when you hire a product counsel or a product counseling team, a lot of it is, like you said, you're translating to the developers, and then you're not only that, you're translating to maybe the other lawyers you have or the other people in the industry or even your customers. And I think it's a powerful thing to bring in,
Right.
because if you don't have that, I think what happens a lot of times is you'll ship something, like I said, and then you'll have to go back,
Right.
pull it off the market and go back because you missed something. And I think
Totally.
that's what you don't want to do. I mean, you lose
Right.
trust in your customer base if you do something like that. So I think the product counsels are there to keep you safe, but they're also, one of the things that I tell all the folks in product and technology, like I've probably told you a million times, I'm your lawyer.
Right.
So I'm here and I work for you.
Right.
So, and part of this is I want to make sure that you're, the best you can be, and you're delivering the products that you need to deliver. And then my job is to go back and help you move that through the organization or with customers or vendors or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's the best. That should be your tagline, the lawyers that you love talking to. Thank you so much for joining me, Andy. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you for having me, Kathy.